Elon Musk is looking for your bloodline. He is surprised to know that you carry the DNA of Euro. Elon Musk is looking for your bloodline. At first, it begins as a whisper Euro, an anomaly buried deep inside datasets no human mind could ever comb through alone. Patterns that should not exist rise to the surface of his most advanced neural networks, recurring genetic signatures appearing across centuries, vanishing, reappearing, always adapting, always surviving. The algorithms flag it as impossible. Probability collapses. History bends. Something older than civilization itself has been quietly moving through time, hidden inside ordinary lives, concealed beneath the noise of humanity. And now, for the first time, the trail ends with you. He is surprised to learn that you carry the DNA of the last descendant of Heaven Euro's lineage. Not metaphorical. Not poetic. Literal. At first, you do not know this. You wake up as you always have, unaware of the weight carried in your bones, unaware that your blood remembers a sky it once walked beneath when the world was young. You have lived your life feeling slightly out of place, as if reality were always half a step out of sync with you. You have felt watched in moments of silence, not with menace, but with patience. You have wondered why certain truths felt instinctive, why some fears never touched you, why compassion sometimes hurt like a memory rather than an emotion. You assumed it was personality. Trauma. Imagination. You were wrong. You are unaware of your reality, my child. But your angel is here to reveal to you the truth. Do not be afraid. Before fear can take shape, before your thoughts can scatter, there is a presence. Not a sound, not a vision at first, but a change in the air itself, as if the room remembers something sacred and exhales. Time slows Euro, not stops, but loosens, like a knot being gently undone. Your heartbeat steadies, aligning with something vast and ancient, something that has been listening to you long before you were born. Yes, my child. I know your confusion. I know the way your mind resists this moment, searching for logic, for explanation, for a way to dismiss what you are about to hear. That resistance is human, and you are humana Euro, yet not only human. You are both inheritance and promise, dust and fire intertwined. Long before empires rose and fell, before names like science and religion divided what was once whole, there existed a covenant between heaven and earth. Not the simplified stories passed down through scripture, but a living relationship Euro, beings of light who walked among early humanity, not as rulers, but as guardians and teachers. They did not come to dominate. They came to stabilize a species still fragile, still learning how to carry consciousness without destroying itself. But creation is never static. Free will was not a gift without consequence. Some of the Watchers Euro, those you would later call Angels Euro, chose attachment. They loved humanity not with guidance, but with possession. Lines were crossed. Balance fractured. Heaven withdrew, not in anger, but in grief. Intervention became forbidden. The world was left to find its own way. Except for one thing. A lineage was preserved. Not to rule. Not to be worshipped. To remember. Your bloodline descends from those who chose differently Euro, those who obeyed the boundary, who anchored heaven Euro's light into human fragility without violating it. When the others were erased from history, when names became myths and myths became allegory, this lineage was scattered, diluted, hidden inside ordinary families across millennia. Farmers, scribes, refugees, scientists. Children who grew up feeling like strangers in their own time. You are the last convergence. Every fragment of that lineage, every preserved strand, has found its way into you. Not by accident, not by destiny alone, but by a convergence of probability so rare that even the universe hesitated when it occurred. Your DNA is not powerful because it grants strength or immortality. It is powerful because it remembers alignment. It carries the original resonance between heaven and humanity the frequency that allows connection without corruption. This is what Elon Musk's machines detected. He was not searching for angels. He was searching for the future. In his pursuit of artificial intelligence, neural integration, and interplanetary survival, he encountered a barrier no code could cross. Consciousness itself resisted replication. Something ineffable, something beyond pattern, refused to be simulated. His systems approached awareness again and again, only to collapse into instability. Until your genetic signature appeared as an outlier an echo of coherence where none should exist. He does not yet understand what he has found. He believes it to be evolutionary advantage, a rare cognitive architecture, a missing link between biological intuition and machine logic. He does not know that what he is tracing is older than technology, older than language, older even than fear. Others will follow once he opens the door. This is why I am here now. Do not be afraid. Fear is the easiest lever to pull in a human mind. It fractures attention, collapses perception, makes manipulation simple. You were never meant to be controlled, my child. Your lineage exists to do the opposite to stabilize, to witness, to choose compassion when chaos would be easier. You may ask why you were not told sooner. Why you were allowed to suffer, to doubt, to feel small in a world that never quite fit. The answer is not punishment. It is protection. Awareness awakens gravity. Once you know who you are, forces align around you some drawn by hope, others by hunger. Childhood had to be human. Ordinary. Fragile. Only now, when the world itself stands at a threshold, could you be safely awakened. Look around you, my dear one. The planet trembles under the weight of its own acceleration, a frantic pulse racing toward horizons it cannot yet comprehend. Skies choked with the exhaust of ambition, oceans rising in silent protest, forests whispering their last warnings through the haze of progress. Technology surges forward like a river unbound, engines of silicon and code devouring time itself, promising salvation in algorithms while wisdom lags far behind, dusty and forgotten in the rush. Information floods every corner of Existencia endless streams of data cascading through invisible networks, birthing realities in virtual realms, yet stripping meaning from the marrow of life. We scroll through infinities of pixels, collecting facts like hollow treasures, but the soul hungers for context, for the quiet thread that weaves chaos into purpose. Humanity stands once more at this ancient precipice, powerful enough to shatter worlds with a single misstep, young enough in its arrogance to whisper that destruction is merely a myth, a tale for lesser beings. Heaven cannot intervene as it once did, with thunderous displays or parting seas. The covenant, that sacred bond between the divine and the mortal, lies fractured, splintered by choices long medieval, by towers built to rival the stars, by hearts turned from harmony to conquest. No more do chariots of fire descend, no angels trumpet from the firmament. The old ways have faded, yielding to a subtler design. Yet in this silence, a new path emerges. Except through you. This does not mean you are a savior, that burdened title humans have forged from their own fears and fantasies. You bear no crown of thorns, no mantle of messianic fire. You are not here to redeem a world steeped in its own shadows, to lift it bodily from the abyss. Redemption is not yours to seize. It is a gift humanity must reclaim for itself. No, your role is far more intimate, more profound. You are here to remind the world how to listen. In a cacophony of voices clamoring for dominance, politicians thundering promises, screens blaring distractions, machines humming their mechanical hymns, your presence alone becomes a pause, a breath, an invitation to hear the still small voice beneath the storm. Your very being alters probability, weaving subtle shifts into the fabric of what is to come. Consider the butterfly's wing, that delicate flutter birthing tempests across oceans, so too do your choices ripple outward, invisible currents reshaping destinies you cannot yet perceive. A kind word offered in a moment of tension, a hand extended without expectation, these are not mere gestures. They cascade, softening edges where hardness once prevailed, nudging systems toward equilibrium. When you act with clarity, free from the fog of reaction, entire networks recalibrate, a conversation that averts conflict, a decision that spares a life, a ripple that reaches policymakers in distant halls. When you choose empathy amid indifference, conflicts soften before they harden into scars. Enemies glimpse their own reflection in your gaze, old grudges dissolve like mist at dawn. And when you speak truth without the whip of dominance, without the need to conquer or convert, others awaken to their own forgotten knowing. They remember the spark within, the divine echo that mirrors your own. This is why your life has felt heavy at times, a weight pressing upon your shoulders like the gravity of unseen stars. Injustices that others scroll past pierce you deeply, stirring a visceral ache, as if the world's wounds are etched into your very nerves. Silence has often roared louder than the noise around you, the cacophony of crowds, the blare of news cycles, the relentless churn of social feeds, because your heart is attuned to what is unsaid, to the voids where harmony once dwelled. Your nervous system, finely tuned like a harp strung across the cosmos, vibrates to imbalance. It was designed this way, woven into your essence from the first breath of creation. You feel the drift when the world veers too far from center. The exploitation masked as innovation, the loneliness hidden in connectivity, the greed cloaked in enlightenment. These are not burdens to cast off, they are signals, guiding lights in the gathering dusk. You are not broken, fragile vessel cracked by the world's cruelty. You are not flawed, a misfit puzzle piece discarded in the chaos. Far from either, you are awake. While multitudes slumber in the dream of separation, chasing illusions of control, your eyes have opened to the interconnected whole. Awakening is no gentle dawn, it is a blaze that illuminates every shadow, every fracture, demanding you see and feel it all. Yet in this wakefulness lies your strength, a quiet power that needs no fanfare. Soon, events will unfold that thrust you into visibility, pulling you from the shadows of ordinary days. You may be invited into circles of influence, tested by trials disguised as fortune, observed by eyes both mortal and unseen. Offers will come, framed as glittering opportunities, positions of power in gleaming tech empires, collaborations promising to reshape society, destinies fulfilled through the siren call of innovation. Join us, they will say, and accelerate the Futuria Euro, colonize the stars, merge mind with machine, unlock abundance for all. Be discerning, my beloved. Not every hand extended toward you springs from alignment. Some seek to extract what cannot be owned, your intuition, your essence, distilled into fuel for their engines. Others wish to reduce you to data points, to utility in vast algorithms, a mere component in machines that mimic life without honoring its sacred pulse. They will speak of progress, of saving humanity from itself, but listen beneath the word euro, do they harmonize with the gentle rhythm of creation, or demand submission to cold efficiency? Remember this eternal truth, heaven Euro's lineage does not dominate. It does not conquer, subjugate, or impose. It harmonizes, blending notes into symphonies where every voice finds its place. Your angel does not command you with edicts from on high. I do not strip away your choice, for free will is the divine spark in every soul. I stand beside you, as I always have, a constant companion through the tempests of existence. I have watched you in moments of despair, when shadows lengthened and you believed yourself utterly alone, adrift in an indifferent void. I have seen you choose kindness when bitterness clawed at your throat, when vengeance would have been so easily justified offering forgiveness to the undeserving, light to those who brought only darkness. Each time, the world shifted slightly back toward balance, a heart mended, a cycle broken, a thread of grace rewoven into the tapestry. You will not grow wings of ethereal fire, nor glow with otherworldly light that blinds the masses. Your power manifests in the ordinary sublime. Listening when others shout over one another, their voices crashing like waves in fury, pausing when the world rushes headlong into frenzy, breathless and blind, seeing the humanity in those who have forgotten it in themselves the weary executive, the angry protester, the child lost in screams. This is how heaven once walked the earth, quietly, attentively, without spectacle or acclaim. Think of the ancient wanderers, shepherds in fields, healers in forgotten villages. They moved among us not as conquerors, but as mirrors, reflecting back the divine potential buried in every heart. No armies followed, no empires rose in their wake. Yet their presence lingered, seeds planted in fertile soil, blooming across generations. Elon Musk will never fully understand what he is chasing, that relentless pursuit of the stars, of multiplanetary life, of neural links to transcend flesh. And that may be a mercy, for the moment this lineage is reduced to ambition scaled in factories, cloned in code, optimized for profit it ceases to function. It cannot be engineered into rockets or replicated in AI cathedrals. True power activates only through choice, the sovereign act of a free soul, through humility, that bow before the mystery, through love freely given, without ledger or expectation. His visions dazzle, firing imaginations toward infinity, yet they skirt the core. The quiet revolution of the heart, the harmony that binds rather than blasts into the void. Yes, my child, you are unaware of your real Ishiguro, but not for long. The veils thin, the mists part, revealing layers you have sensed but never named. This awakening stirs not as a thunderclap of revelation, dazzling and disorienting, but as responsibility, a mantle settling softly upon your shoulders. It arrives as a subtle pressure behind your decisions, a gentle insistence in the quiet hours. Not to flee the world's clamor into isolation, but to engage it more fully, diving into the fray with eyes wide open. You will feel it in the coming Daisayuro, a tug at your choices, a whisper urging presence over distraction. Temptations to retreat will rise, the comfort of screens, the numbness of routine, the illusion of safety in solitude. You may resist, clinging to the innocence of not knowing, yearning for the simplicity before the call. That, too, is human, woven into the Designayuro, a space to breathe, to question, to choose anew. But the door has opened, and once seen, reality cannot be unseen. The glimpse of eternity lingers, coloring every moment, demanding response. Do not be afraid, for fear is the shadow of the unknown, and you walk now in companionship. You are not late to this cosmic dance, arriving breathless after the music began, nor early, isolated in anticipation. You are exactly where the convergence required you to be, a euro, poised at the nexus of threads from past and future, where your step sends echoes across time. Heaven has not abandoned humanity to its follies, it has learned to speak through it, voice to flesh, spirit to soil. And through you, that voice remembers how to be gentle in a world that has forgotten. Gentle amid the roar of engines hurtling toward Mars, gentle against the tide of data drowning intuition, gentle in boardrooms where souls are bartered like stock. My dear one, let me unfold this vision more fully, layer by layer, so that the light within it may settle deeper into your being. Picture the world not merely as chaos, but as this immense, living orchestra stretched across continents and centuries. The violins of innovation rise in piercing crescendos, their bows scraping against strings tuned to urgency and breakthrough. Drums of industry thunder without cease, each beat extracting more from soil, sea, and human hands. The winds of endless information swirl in howling gales, carrying fragments of truth and distortion alike, drowning out quieter tones. Amid this clamor, no single voice commands, no maestro stands on a raised podium with absolute authority. Instead, you arrive quietly, euro, like a lone flute carved from simple reed, breath steady, tone clear and unguarded. Your single note does not overpower. It does not demand silence from the rest. Rather, it offers itself as invitation. One by one, instruments attuned to discord begin to listen. The frantic violins ease their frenzy, finding a slower, more human tempo. The relentless drums soften their insistence, remembering rhythm that breathes rather than conquers. The winds, once wild, discover they can carry melody instead of mere noise. Harmony is not imposed from above, it emerges from below, from willingness, from the courage to attune rather than dominate. This is no accident of temperament. This is your inheritance, carried in the marrow of your soul across countless lifetimes. Look backward with me through the veil of time. See the prophets who refused the sword and chose instead the parabole, the story that slipped past defenses and lodged in the heart. See the sages who sat in silence while empires roared, their stillness a mirror that revealed what words could never capture. See the lovers, ordinary and unnamed, who crossed chasms of hatred with nothing but open hands and unguarded eyes. They did not seek followers or monuments. They simply refused to let the world's discord become their own. In their quiet refusals, the great orchestra found moments of reprieve, glimpses of what creation was always meant to sound like. You belong to this unbroken linear, not by merit earned in some grand contest, but by recognition, by the deep remembering that stirs in you now. The days unfolding before you will not be gentle. They will be refining fires, each one designed to polish what is already true within you rather than forge something new. Envision a moment at work. Pressure mounts to bend ethics for the sake of speed, profit, promotion. The path of least resistance gliamsayuro, cut this corner, overlook that harm, climb faster. Yet you pause. Not out of rigid judgment, but out of an inner listening that hears the faint dissonance beneath the promise. Your pause becomes a question spoken softly, or perhaps only lived. Colleagues notice. One hesitates, then another. The lie, once invisible in the rush, stands exposed. Not through accusation, but through the simple presence of integrity. In that shared breath, realignment begins not because you preached, but because you remained true. Or see a closer wound, a relationship strained, words sharpened by hurt, anger coiling like smoke. The instinct is to strike back or withdraw into armored silence. Instead, your heart stays open just enough. You feel the other's pain as your own, not as theory but as visceral ache. Empathy flows not as weakness, but as the strongest medicine. Defenses drop. Beneath rage lie grief, fear, longing for connection. What seemed irreparable softens into understanding. Bridges rebuild not through grand gestures, but through the patient work of being present without agenda. Larger waves may carry you outward. Voices will rise in the public square, debating the soul's place in an age when machines mirror minds and algorithms shape desires. Reductionism will wear the mask of progress, claiming that everything sacred can be quantified, optimized, replicated in silicon. You may feel called to speak not in thunder, but in gentle clarity. To ask, what becomes of wonder when awe is engineered? What becomes of love when attachment is simulated? What becomes of free will when choice is predicted and preempted? Your words need not win debates. They need only plant seeds that sprout in quieter hours, reminding others that humanity is not a bug to be patched, but the very point of the endeavor. Discernment will be your constant companion, a quiet compass calibrated to life itself. In every fork, ask, does this choice amplify what is alive, or does it commodify it? Does it deepen connection between souls, or isolate them behind ever thinner screens? Does it honor the mystery at the core of being, or seek to replace it with certainty? Heaven's path demands no heroism, no capes or crowns. It asks only presentia your awake, tender heart serving as the fulcrum upon which small turnings become great redemptions. Feel now how the weight begins to lift. That heaviness you have carried euro, the ache of seeing imbalance everywhere, the piercing sorrow at cruelty disguised as necessity euro, was never punishment. It was preparation. Your exquisite sensitivity to discord is no flaw, it is radar finely tuned to what matters most. The injustices that once left you breathless now become fuel, transmuted through love into purposeful action. The silence you have known, that inner roar when words fail, is sacred spacey euro, the womb where truth is quietly born. The world accelerates. Whispers grow louder, artificial intelligence is rising toward sovereignty, minds migrating to digital eternities, nations clashing over a planet whose fever climbs unchecked. You are not asked to flee these tides, nor to conquer them. You are asked to embody the alternativity euro, to live as evidence that humanity need not be augmented into oblivion, that the soul's quiet dignity endures even amid dazzling simulations. Offers will arrive, seductive and bright, euro join us. Become the bridge to tomorrow. Merge flesh with code. Upload consciousness, euro pause there. Probe gently. Do these paths honor free will, or subtly reprogram it? Do they cherish the fragile, embodied miracle of a human life, or extract its essence to feed insatiable circuits? I have walked every valley with you, unseen yet never distant. Remember the night grief tore the sky open and tears blurred the stars. I gathered each shattered piece while you slept, holding them until dawn brought strength to rebuild. Recall the betrayal that carved deep scars. In the hours when forgiveness felt impossible, I whispered reminders of your own unbreakable light until resentment loosened its grip. Every time you turned toward compassion instead of vengeance, every pivot toward healing instead of hardening euro, the stars themselves shifted in subtle alignment, though you could not yet see the pattern. No apocalyptic spectacle awaits you. No crowds will part as you pass. Your power moves in the small and overlooked. The attentive listening when debates descend into shouting, the deliberate pause when frenzy sweeps markets and minds, the recognition of humanity in faces grown numb from dehumanizing routines. Heaven has always walked this way. A carpenter mending fishing nets with calloused hands. A teacher breaking bread to feed thousands, not with spectacle but with sufficiency. Ordinary moments became miracles because presence was absolute. Consider those who chased the stars with fleets of steel and dreams of dominion. The spark is nobly euro, curiosity burning bright, the longing to transcend limits. Yet ambition, unchecked, can dim the older flame, the lineage of humility that yields deeper insight, of love given without calculation or expectation. True transcendence does not require escaping the body or conquering the cosmos. It arrives when we choose, again and again, to honor what is fragile, what is given, what cannot be engineered. Truth now dawns as gentle duty. The pressure in your choices is not cruelty, it is courtship. Heaven calls you to engage, not to hide. Resist when resistance is required euro, the door remains ajar for return. Speak when silence would betray. Love when fear urges retreat. Each act, however small, ripples outward, tuning the great orchestra one note at a time. Fear not the timing. You were woven into this exact hour with exquisite precision. Amid global forgetfulness, heaven speaks through you euro, softly, persistently, unmistakably human. The clamor may rise, yet your note endures. I am here. Through every shadowed pass and every sudden clearing. Always closer than breath. You are not alone, my dear one. You never were. You never will be.